Let's welcome to the show Laffer Tengler, Investment CEO and CIO, Nancy Tengler. Nancy, it's always great to have you on. So really, what the heck is going on with inflation? Biden insisted it was temporary, transitory. It's been stuck above 3% now, month to month, for pretty much more than 3 years straight. Yes, it came in at 3.3%, a little lower than expected. It was expected to be 3.4. What exactly is the reason inflation keeps going up? Why is the Biden agenda inflationary and the Trump agenda is not?
Well, that's a setup. That's a nice lob, Liz. Thank you very much. I think it's interesting that President Biden keeps insisting that inflation was at 9% when he took office. It was at 1.4%, and we were in a transitory mode until the federal government began spending trillions of dollars. Once we had already reopened, the vaccine was in place. So the Inflation Reduction Act really fanned the flames of inflation and continues to do so. If you look at deficit spending, I mean, we've spent $10 trillion post-COVID, and interest expense, because the Treasury is funding the debt on the short end of the curve, which is the most expensive. Interest expense, as estimated by the CBO, is supposed to hit $870 billion this year, which is in excess of the defense budget. So if you add that in, and by the way, the CBO is always wrong, so let's call that $1 trillion. If you add all that into the inflation picture, that is what is driving inflation. And though the numbers were good today, sticky inflation is still 4.5% as measured by the Atlanta Fed. And that is what most people live in, the sticky inflation world.
Yeah, you know what's really terrible? It's just, it's what people have to buy day to day just to get by. We got more breaking news. Federal Reserve Chair Powell just said today recent government jobs data, quote, may be a bit overstated. We've been saying that for months, Nancy, that Biden only created 2.4 million jobs under, according to the household survey, not the 15 million he blames, he says. But, talk to us more. It's something like a quarter of jobs every month are taxpayer paid for jobs. So consumer prices have not fallen in a single month since Biden took office. Overall, prices are up 20% versus 7% compounded under Trump. The Fed left interest rates unchanged. Now they may just do one rate cut. We started the year with a forecast of 5 or 6 rate cuts. The prices Americans are paying for non-discretionary items are still high. It's what they need every day to get by. Gas prices, right, electricity, grocery prices. How do we get out of this?
Yeah, I think what was really interesting to me today in the press conference was that for the first time, Fed Chairman Powell said, well, 2.6% to 2.7% inflation is a very good place to be. That sounds kind of slippery to me, like slippery, like we're maybe not really targeting 2% anymore, because it's going to be very difficult to bring it down while the government continues to spend copious amounts of taxpayer funds on things like the Gaza Pier, $320 billion, didn't work, $7.5 billion for 500,000 charging stations.
And it's student loan bailouts, hundreds of billions of government waste and pandemic spending. Real wages, when you factor in inflation, Nancy, down 2.2% under Biden. We got more breaking news. A new poll out of Marist College, Biden's support from black voters has plunged 25 points since 2020, down to 68%. But top Biden officials are doing a victory lap over this, the highest rate of inflation since the late 80s. It's more than double the level seen under any of the last 4 presidents. Watch the top spin here.
Yeah, I don't know what they can spin all they want, but auto insurance rates are up 46.5%. Homeowner rates are up 37.8% since 2019. I mean, this is what people live with. And meanwhile, the government is looking at, super core CPI, which excludes housing and goods and energy and food. So you tell me how that's a viable measure that we should be paying attention. It only works in Washington. It doesn't work in the rest of the United States. And that's why those poll numbers are saying what they're saying.
Now we're going to cue up the sound of the Biden top spin and his media helpers, basically defending what's going on. Watch this.
But there's real pain. I mean, grocery prices are up 30%, more than 30%. Since the beginning of the pandemic, and people are spending more on food and groceries than they have at any time really in the past 30 years. I mean, That's a real day-to-day pain that people
No, it really is, and it's real. But the fact is that if you take a look at what the people have, they have the money to spend.
We need an economic explainer. People are confused, they're exhausted, but they're also doing quite well.
They're trying to tell people that, look, the statistics say you have a good economy, and what you feel or what you perceive when you go to the store is not rational.
Yeah, believe me, don't believe your lying eyes. Okay, look at this news. The Economist magazine just put out a new model report, what they're seeing, that Trump has a 2 in 3 chance of winning re-election. That same model in 2020 gave Biden an 83% chance of winning the White House. Final word, take it away.
Yeah, I think the American people know what their budgets tell them, and I think they're going to vote that, and that's why you're seeing the numbers move in the direction they're moving. People were better off in the previous administration. Inflation was lower, interest rates were lower, and energy costs were lower. Those are the things that matter to the average American.
Nancy Tengler, we needed you tonight, and you did it. You delivered. Thank you so much.